let's just say how it is here. The manager is not confident enough to change or go with something different. He sticks with the same thing and he's too stubborn to change it. This is the problem we've got with him, Miguel. He's thinking, no, nothing's not working. We're getting dominated in midfield in the first half hour against PSG, changes nothing. He waits to the 89th minute to make a change. We need to score 2 goals last night. He's bringing on 2 fullbacks, bruv. Yeah, and the 2 fullbacks, I appreciate Calafiori scored a couple of goals, but Kieran Tierney could actually whip some crosses in, yeah? Overlapping old school, put some crosses in the air to Marino, which is what we've been trying to do with these throw-ins the whole night with Partey and corners being whipped in. You actually could have had someone going overlapping and putting a cross in. Do you know he's the best delivery of a ball that we've got, Kieran Tierney? Yeah, the best cross that we've got, maybe other than Saka and Rice in terms of the actual corners and free kicks they take. Kieran Tierney, one of the only things that I think people respect him for, because I like him, a lot of people don't, is the ability for him to actually put a ball in. Didn't see that. Zinchenko or Lewis Skelly into midfield is something that I think the game was crying out for. Someone to get a little bit of legs and pace into it. Declan Rice is that engine, but some of that little bit of athleticism and a little bit of something different. I thought Zinchenko and Lewis Skelly attack-wise might have been quite good in that midfield yesterday. We didn't try it once over 2 legs. So there's a lot that he didn't want to try. And the thing with Ethan is bizarre, by the way, because this is a guy that he said I should have played him earlier in the season with Ødegaard. I'm now hearing he's missed training against Real Madrid and now he's being punished for the last 2 weeks. And that's why his minutes have been limited. Oh, you're on mute, bro. Why are you on mute?
I was going to say, where did you hear that? My wife was cooking something, that's why. Where did you hear that?
Oh, a friend of mine in the club said that that's the case. So,
by the way, did you ever hear the rumor Aubameyang slapped up Arteta?
Yeah, apparently. And then since he's gone, we ain't replaced him. Or Xhaka, by the way. And I didn't even rate Xhaka.
I heard nothing bad about Xhaka, though. As for Arteta, bro, you tell me if I'm viewing things the wrong way, because I'm viewing it as, one, tactically we were not outclassed in that tie. We were not outclassed tactically. I'm looking at it as a 50-50, and the difference was they were able to. Their players were more clinical than ours. Their individual brilliance shown to the occasion. And showed and gave them the lead and won them the tie. When it comes to Arsenal, we had chance after chance after chance after chance. We were brought to the table. Nobody wanted to take their chance. Nobody wanted to take their chance.
Let me tell you why we were.
And I put that on the players, Dan. I'm looking at Trossard not scoring his chance. I'm looking at Martinelli not scoring his chance. I'm looking at Bukayo Saka missing a tap-in, that we make fun of other players for always scoring tap-ins, and he couldn't score a tap-in in that situation. How do you get it over the bar in front of an open net?
Yeah, it's
how?
But you
Declan
know what?
Rice, free header. Another chance early in the game for Declan Rice. Martin Ødegaard, Donnarumma, amazing save. What a performance from Donnarumma. Bukayo Saka, again, what an amazing save from Donnarumma. But we had at least 9 chances. Nobody can say this team did not step up in that first 20, 40 minutes to try to go and get the win and try to get the game buried. We could have done it. We didn't execute. And that's where I look at the manager and I say, you know what? The first 20 minutes tells me the players were following the instructions of the manager, but they could not execute the final piece to the puzzle, which was getting the goal. I think Arteta. Sorry, let me finish. I think Arteta coached the win, and we lost because the players let him down at the end.
So let me tell you where, in a minute, where it's not on Arteta solely, but let me explain why I believe what you're saying is not correct about the whole outclassed thing and tactically classed. I thought Luis Enrique did an absolute number on us in the first leg, and I'll tell you why. I thought they were absolutely levels ahead of us in the first half hour of that game in the first leg. I thought I've never seen a team come and bop it round like that against Arsenal so easily. That's one thing I'll give Arteta credit for at Arsenal. We've always been able to keep possession well. We've always been able to control the game of football. They were incredible. I think they shocked everybody, if I'm honest. They silenced everybody with the first 3 minutes when they scored. And after that, it was half hour of just pure dominance from PSG. We didn't let a glove on them, if I'm honest. Then obviously we had the chance with Trossard and Martinelli, I agree with. And individually, that's not Arteta's fault. They've got to bury their chances. But at the same time, both of those players are at the club because of Mikel Arteta, because he believes in them. So again, you've got to hold the elf and the manager there. In the second leg, they didn't have to outclass us, mate, because they just had to control the game. It wasn't, oh, this is going to need a tactical masterclass from Enrique here to get through, because he'd already done that in the first leg. So for me, when I look at it, I didn't see anything change in the first leg. Marino scored, but it was offside. Other than that, we didn't really look like we were going to be peppering their goal. And we didn't look to change it. And in the second leg, he did the same thing. Now, I appreciate he made 2 changes on the 65th minute. But really, did that change the game up? I thought Trossard did pretty good, but it was a like-for-like sub. Calafiori and Ben White are 2 fullbacks. We need to score 2 goals. I didn't see any formation change. I didn't see anything different about our play. And I didn't see Ethan Nwaneri, who would have been our
Maybe
spark.
it's the fact that the players had yellow cards and we didn't want to get them sent off. Also,
you can look at that, but then again, we're always looking to defend Arteta. And this is
also
what I don't understand.
Calafiori is an attacking change in the grand scheme of the game. Like, think about it.
Well, it didn't work, though, did it? But when I look at Mikel Arteta, I don't know why we can't question him at all. This is what I don't get. Why am I not allowed to say, I don't think this guy's good enough to convince to get us across the line? Why is that such a bad thing to say?
Dan, I'm not going to tell you what to say. I think there is a certain set of fan base. I think there's a certain set of fan base.
Let me reword it then. Why do you think that's a stupid thing for me to say? Why do you disagree with that so wholeheartedly? What evidence have you seen that, like, really? You don't think Arteta's going to win us a trophy? I've seen evidence to say that he's going to. Look at these last 5 years, what he's done. I don't get this, EGAL. Real talk.
Right. Because I'm looking at the team and I'm saying to myself, if that team that played yesterday had somebody in that team that was a clinical forward, forget about even a clinical forward. We don't even forget about even clinical. Just any level of what do you call it? Decisiveness in the final third, we win that game because PSG had 3 goals, right? There were one was a deflection, one was a worldie, another one was what do you call it? It hit the post and in. Like the amount of things that they needed to go their way to get those 3 goals. Where for Arsenal, we couldn't score tap-ins. Bro, we were missing open headers. Like the chances that we were missing, I don't look at the manager and say, well, he coached a bad game. We absolutely got dominated and we got destroyed. Now, don't get me wrong. In the first leg, it was poor and we should have got more from it. But at the same time, over the 2 legs, I think it was close, small margins. And the manager did not set us up.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I think.
I think the manager did not set us up tactically incorrectly. I think in both the legs, we've shown that we're up to the level. The difference
let me ask you this when you're done.
The difference for me between you and me is we viewed things differently. I'm viewing the result as small margins, and we only lost because we were poor at finishing in the final third, and the attacking third was the issue. You're viewing it as more of the same, and the manager's the problem because he's seen this issue for 3 years in a row.
So let me get an understanding of where you're at. And this is not a question. This is me trying to understand your mindset, okay? You're saying if we had Isak and Kvaratskhelia, we go through.
Facts.
Okay, so on that, then he's going to stay. I hate this. Is he staying? Is he going? We all know he's staying, right? I don't want him to stay, but I've done with that argument. He's staying. Berta goes and gets him the players because that's what we would believe he's come in for. Mikel Arteta goes again next season. What then? Has he got to win?
First of all, the board let him down in January. The board let him down in the summer. The failures of the board is the reason why we were in this situation in the first place, and they are the ones that killed our season, not Arteta. So they cannot now sack him for their own mistakes. That's number one. And we can both agree on that, I think. They're not going to sack him for their own mistakes.
No, they're not going to sack him.
Tactically, I think we're set up well, where when we buy an elite forward, he comes into this team and makes us favorites to not only win the league, but be challenging for the Champions League next season. Bro, we were about to get to a Champions League final with Mikel Moreno up top, with an 18-year-old who's barely kicked the ball before this season at left back. With what do you call it? A team that has been depleted to the point where Kivior is our backup center back in the team. Now, can you for 1 second look at that team and say to yourself, Dan, you didn't view those players even good enough to be squad players. For Arteta to get them to a Champions League final with those players to his disposal has to be a little bit credited. Be like, yo, you know what? Fair play.
It does have to be credited 100%. And I've praised him for getting us into a title race. I've praised him for getting us to a semi-final across the line against Real Madrid, which I did not give us any hope for. And there's been 2 or 3 things that I've been wrong about. in the 5 years that I've questioned whether this process is going to work or not. One of them was I didn't see us challenging. I didn't think Arteta would get us there in his first ever job. I was wrong about that. And I was wrong that we'd get across the line against Real Madrid because I thought they would just do us over 2 legs. But unfortunately, we beat Real Madrid and that's not a trophy. Unless they want to add that to the trophy cabinet he's trying to put together with community shields in it and best looking Premier League manager of the year and all this crap that he puts in there.
You agree with me on this? You buy an elite forward or 2. You buy, say we go out in the summer, and I'm going to give you realistic targets. We get Adam Lookman on the left, and we bring in Gyökeres up top.
Yeah, right? I'm happy with that.
Those 2 guys come into this team, and they play PSG yesterday. Do you guarantee one of those guys finished their dinner compared to the chances that we had to our disposal?
I'd have more faith in the pair of them scoring than I would the chances we missed. Of course I would. However, does that mean we're going through? I still don't know. It's all hindsight, isn't it? And this is what we now got to decide. Do you believe that Mikel Arteta, with another few signings, can win us a trophy? If it's yes, I understand why you're Arteta.
I do.
You want to keep him, right? And that's why I understand.
And I would take it to the extreme of saying nobody is better than us tactically.
What?
Tactically, nobody's better than us. We lose these games because of poor execution, not tactics.
But we've been done over in 4 competitions, EGAL.
Okay, let's go through them. The if I'm not mistaken, the first leg versus the first leg versus what was it, Newcastle? How many chances did we miss, bro? How many chances did we miss?
They smashed us, bruv, Newcastle, home and away. What are we talking about here? They beat us 4-0 on aggregate.
I know, but go back to the first game. How many chances did we miss? How many of those chances did we have?
Havertz missed a header when he closed his eyes from a yard, and Ødegaard missed a sit-up. That's 4-2.
I'm just talking about the first leg. Second leg, we got beat. We got beat fair and square. I'll give you that. But majority of the first half was close. What was it? We lost 2-0 in the second leg, right? We lost 2-0 in the second leg. The second leg was shit. The second leg was shit. But even then, we still had way more chances in the first leg. We should have won that first leg tie. We should have done enough in that first leg. Manchester United at home. You watched the game. Were you there?
I was there, and it was abysmal.
Did we not have chances though?
Well, we missed a penalty because Ødegaard can't shoot. I mean, it wasn't a penalty anyway because Havertz dived. We were just lucky there was no VAR.
Bro, we were peppering them the whole game.
And then Havertz missed from a yard.
We were peppering them the whole game. Once again, another example of us going out in a competition. Another example of us going out in a competition where it's not on the manager, in my opinion. 26 shots, Dan. 3 XG. And the amount of chances on target where the goal was open and somehow Declan Rice can't get it on target. Kai Havertz missed the open goal.
Well, whose fault is Kai Havertz being here then?
You know something? That right there, you can criticize the players and everything else, but if Kai Havertz was available versus PSG, we could have used another option.
We ain't beating PSG if Kai Havertz is fit, mate.
Kai Havertz is fit. He gives us another option. In fact,
I don't even know if we'd go through the tie with Kai Havertz because Marino was brilliant against Real Madrid home and away. Kai Havertz wouldn't have done
I'm talking about having options off the bench.
He's an option off the bench, but he's not exactly going to be coming on, and I'm not confident we're going through. Let's be real. Havertz has been nothing short of a shambles. I think that's an awful signing.
By the way, Havertz is going to be playing as a 10 next season. He's most likely going to come in as a midfielder.
Then I want him sacked then, if we're doing that. I want him gone, mate. I ain't having him as our attacking midfielder. Let me tell you that.
We're never going to agree.
If he goes back into midfield, I want the manager gone about Christmas, mate, if that ain't working.
Dan, do you not view any of these games where we've peppered a goal and we've absolutely been on top and we've been the better team and we end up losing as a situation where you can criticize the players more than the manager? Or do you always criticize the manager?
You can criticize the players for missing chances, but who the hell's bought these players? That's what my question mark is to you back. Who bought Kai Havertz? This manager. Who bought Jesus? This manager. Neither of them are number 9s, but he's trying to force them into it. He ain't bought a striker for 5 years ago. What's the problem here? We're not clinical enough. Well, how about go and buy a striker then?
He tried to buy a striker in January. The board said no.
Right, so let me ask you. You started supporting Arsenal a little bit after me. Was it 98 you started supporting them?
Yeah.
Right. I started supporting Arsenal in 92. Ian Wright was our striker, right? Off the back of that, we've had Alan Smith in that time, Kevin Campbell, bless him, Ian Wright, Merce, Bergkamp, Anelka, Henry, Van Persie, even Adebayor, Eduardo, Robin Van Persie, Aubameyang. And then after that, who have we had? Since this manager's been here, we've had Eddie Nketiah up top, Kai Havertz up top, and Gabriel Jesus up top. When he started, we had Lacazette and Aubameyang and Pepe. I would say all three of them, right, have probably been better, other than Saka, than the majority of the people he's brought in or kept hold of. Reece
You
Nelson.
know something? The way the team functions today, it functions better with the likes of Havertz and what do you call it, Jesus, than it would Lacazette because of their movement.
Lacazette's better than both of them, bro.
Lacazette's a better goal scorer, but he's not better at building up and helping the team overall.
How many of his attackers has he improved, Egal? Saka, that's it.
Saka and Trossard? Would you say he's improved Trossard?
I mean, I don't think he's much better than what he was at Brighton. I just think he's a good player that's come in and done well, but he's not a starter. He's a sub.
Do you think Havertz has been better than he's been at Chelsea? Because I think he has been.
Yeah, probably, but I don't think
Martinelli, his 2022-2023 season improved.
No, he's dropped.
Since then, has never shown the same level of consistency.
I mean, Willian and Sterling.
Maybe it's an anomaly season.
Well, Willian, Sterling, Pepe, Nelson.
I want to know that. What's your main point? Is your main point Arteta's to blame that we don't have a striker?
I don't think Arteta, for someone who's played with JJ Okocha and Ronaldinho, knows how to coach attacking players. I've not seen evidence of it yet. That's what I think. Now, don't get me wrong, we've scored some goals, and we've scored a lot of goals. I think it was last season we might have scored more goals than any. But why has he not bought a bloody striker? Because people say we scored the most goals, but we didn't win anything. Imagine if we bought a striker and scored the most goals. That striker would have scored even more goals. Why does he not want to buy a striker? Why does he not want to buy a striker? Because he's not bought a striker yet. People say to me, he does, he wants to buy a striker. So you're telling me the board have said, here's 750 million, Mikel. Don't buy a striker with it, though, but you can buy anyone else you want. Bollocks. He doesn't want to buy that. He wants to buy that false nine for his system. And Jesus hasn't done it because he's crocked. Lacazette probably would have been one of the better players for it, but he got rid of him. Aubameyang, he went out the door because apparently he was toxic. We haven't replaced him 3 years later. And Havertz has come in as our attacking 8 and is now our number 9. And funny enough, another attacking 8 we bought is now our number 9 as well. So last season, we were playing our attacking 8 at number 9. This season, we're playing our attacking 8 at number 9. How about just go and buy fucking number 9?
Thank you for watching that short clip. Hopefully you enjoyed that video and you left a like on the video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the discussion that we just had. And of course, as always, ladies and gentlemen, do me a big favor. If you can like the goddamn video, it goes a long way. And of course, if you want to check out some of the other content that's on my channel, it'll be here somewhere on the screen. But for now, I bid you guys adieu. Respect for watching, and for getting up to this level, you're a real one.